It's me. She defeated Olympic champion Qinwen Zheng, but this was not a clean victory. EALA did not walk onto the court, find her rhythm, and control the match from the first ball. She lost the opening set 4-6. Then she fell behind by a break in the second. Zheng was serving harder. She was striking first. She was pushing EALA behind the baseline and making the match look as if it was moving toward the ending everyone expected. An Olympic champion moving forward. A young Filipino player running out of answers. Then the entire night changed. EALA stopped trying to defeat Zheng with one brilliant shot. She began making more returns. She started sending the ball deeper through the center of the court. She forced Zheng to hit one more forehand, one more backhand, and one more difficult ball under pressure. Most importantly, she discovered the one part of the Zheng game that could be attacked, the second serve. Once EALA found that opening, she did not hesitate. She won the second set 6-4. Then she dominated the deciding set 6-1. The final score was 4-6, 6-4, 6-1. The match lasted 2 hours and 26 minutes. Zheng produced 14 aces. EALA produced only 4. Zheng created 11 break opportunities. EALA created only 8. Yet EALA was the player celebrating at the end. How did she survive the larger serve? How did she recover after losing the first set and falling behind in the second? And how did a match controlled by an Olympic champion become a one-sided final set? The answer was not simply courage. It was not only emotion. EALA stayed alive long enough to understand the problem. Then she found the correct solution before the match disappeared. That is what made this victory different. It was not just another upset from a talented young player. It was a demonstration of something far more dangerous. Alex EALA can now solve an elite opponent while the match is still happening. To understand why that matters, you first have to understand the challenge standing across the net. Qinwen Zheng was not simply a famous first-round opponent. She had reached a Grand Slam final. She had climbed as high as world number 4. She had won Olympic gold for China in Paris. That title changes the emotional weight of a match. An Olympic champion has already competed with an entire country watching. She has already experienced pressure that can overwhelm even elite players. She understands what happens when one match becomes larger than the tournament around it. Early in Washington, Zheng looked exactly like that player. Her serve created instant pressure. She did not need long rallies to establish control. She could step to the line, hit her target, and finish a point before EALA had any chance to settle. When the first serve landed, EALA often began the rally from a defensive position. She had to absorb the pace. She had to recover her court position. She had to keep the ball alive long enough to create a neutral exchange. Zheng did not allow that to happen often. The serve created the advantage. The first ground stroke expanded it. Then Zheng attacked the shorter reply. It was simple. It was powerful. And during the opening set, it worked. Zheng won the first set 6-4. The score looked competitive. The feeling on the court was different. Zheng had the easier path to points. She could collect free points with her serve. EALA had to work for almost everything. That difference matters when a match becomes tight. A player with a dominant serve can escape a difficult game with one ace. A player without that weapon has to construct every point. EALA was not only trying to break Zheng, she was trying to protect her own service games against constant pressure. Across the match, Zheng created 11 break points. That meant even the EALA service games rarely felt comfortable. Every missed first serve created danger. Every short second serve allowed Zheng to step forward. Every close game became a test of discipline. After losing the first set, EALA could easily have started chasing a miracle. That is where many young players lose matches against elite opponents. They believe they must become perfect. They begin aiming closer to the lines. They force attacks from defensive positions. They try to erase an entire deficit with one spectacular shot. The errors arrive. The score moves faster. The match disappears. EALA did not need a miracle. She needed time. She needed enough return games to recognize where the Zheng serve became vulnerable. She needed enough rallies to understand which patterns gave her a chance. She needed enough emotional control to prevent one lost set from becoming proof that she could not win. The first set was not a success on the scoreboard. But EALA stayed close enough to learn. She saw how Zheng used the first serve to create a short return. She saw how quickly Zheng looked to attack the next ball. She saw how difficult it was to defend once Zheng controlled the first 2 shots. Most importantly, she did not continue searching for the same solution. She began changing the match one small decision at a time. Then the situation became even more dangerous. Zheng moved ahead by a break in the second set. Now EALA was one set down and trailing against a player who had already shown that she could protect service games with power. This was the moment when the comeback should have ended before it began. Zheng had the score. She had the larger serve. She had the easier way to finish points. EALA had almost no room left for a slow adjustment. But she was not fading. She was reading the match. The first change was not dramatic. EALA began putting more returns into the court. Not perfect returns. Not immediate winners. Returns that forced Zheng to play another ball. That extra ball changed the structure of the point. Zheng had been controlling the match through speed. The serve created an immediate advantage. The first attack made that advantage larger. The rally often ended before EALA could establish balance. By extending the point, EALA forced Zheng to win in a different way. Zheng could still hit through the court, but now she had to construct more rallies. She had to remain patient, she had to make more decisions, she had to prove the advantage again and again. EALA also began using the center of the court more effectively. Deep balls through the middle reduced the angles available to Zheng. They gave EALA more time to recover. They prevented Zheng from opening the court as easily with the first attack. This was not passive tennis. It was controlled resistance. EALA was no longer trying to turn every defensive position into an immediate winner. She accepted neutral rallies. She chose depth over unnecessary risk. She made Zheng work harder for the same result. Slowly, the match began to change inside the points. The scoreboard had not fully revealed it yet. Zheng still had the lead. She still had the larger weapons. But the rallies were becoming less comfortable. The first attack was no longer finishing the point as often. The return was arriving deeper. The ball was coming back one more time. The pressure was beginning to move toward the other side of the net. Still, EALA needed more than resistance. She needed somewhere to attack. The opening appeared when the Zheng first serve missed. The first serve remained dangerous throughout the match. EALA could not eliminate it. She could not match the 14 aces. She could not force Zheng to stop serving with power. But the second serve created a completely different opportunity. It gave EALA time. Not much time, but enough. Enough to move closer to the baseline. Enough to take the return earlier. Enough to send the ball deep before Zheng could organize the first forehand. Once EALA recognized that opportunity, the entire match changed. Across the match, EALA won 31 of the 48 points played behind the Zheng second serve. That is 64.6%. Zheng won only 35.4% of those points. That number explains the comeback better than any emotional speech. EALA was not simply fighting harder. She had found the place where Zheng could no longer control the beginning of the rally. When the first serve landed, Zheng often dictated. When the first serve missed, EALA attacked. She stepped forward. She took the ball earlier. She returned deep toward the body, the feet, and the center of the court. Those targets made it difficult for Zheng to create an immediate angle. A powerful player needs time to organize power. EALA began taking that time away. Instead of allowing Zheng to serve and attack, EALA forced her to play the next ball from an uncomfortable position.